Hello and welcome to a little sequence I am calling Plank Powerlates, which includes a little bit of Pilates and some of your favorite plank variations and combinations. So grab a mat, maybe a cup of tea, glass of water, and have a seat, and let's start lying down on your mat and stretching it out in a total body stretch from head to toe, reaching the arms overhead and stretching the legs out nice and long. Breathing in and breathing out. Reaching a little longer, a little farther, feeling the breath in the body, getting centered and focused. And let's pull the knees into the chest and wrap the arms underneath the legs and just rock across the low back, side to side. Keep that breath flowing. And arms out to a T shape. We're going to drop the knees side to side 8 times. Warming up through the hips, pelvis, back. Stretching through the chest, shoulders, and arms. You can look the opposite direction as the knees drop, or keep the head right in the center. And bringing the legs back to the middle, we're going to lift the legs up into tabletop position here. Squeeze the legs together, press the palms down into the floor as we take a twist with those legs side to side. See if the legs can stay together, engaging your inner thigh, and see if those shoulders can stay grounded into the earth, opening up through the chest. Just a little warm up here before we start planking our lives away. And bring it right back to the center with an inhale. And exhale, placing the feet down onto the mat and stretching the legs nice and long. Let's start with a single leg lift as we reach the arms, peeling the head, neck, and shoulders away from the floor and curling up with that leg lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, repeat on the other side. And if you can come up a little higher, then we'll continue to lift the leg higher, flex the abs deeper, and come up into a single leg teaser. And lowering down. If you would like to use a towel at your low back, this might help you find your core muscles a little bit deeper and help you with these single leg roll-ups or single leg teasers. And I'm just doing another 4 with the towel behind me. So give it a try and see how it feels both ways. And we're going to stay here at the top. And we're going to get ready for a tabletop pose from the world of yoga. So hands behind you. I like the fingers facing forward or facing the toes. Pressing the arms down, we're going to lift the hips up. As high as you can, try to get them up, up, up. And then lowering back down again. We'll try that again. Exhale to lift the hips up, pressing the arms down, bringing the knees over the ankles, and inhale, lower. And now let's try extending one leg long, keeping the other knee bent and the foot pressing down. And we're going to lift the hips up high. And then that straight extended leg, we're going to flex the foot and give a controlled kick upwards to the ceiling, point the toes and lengthen down and forward. Flex the foot and lifting up a little higher than the opposite knee. Point the toes, lengthen and extend the leg down before touching the floor. Let's flex the foot and lengthen and lift with control, not just with momentum. And then we shall repeat on the other side. Great, let that go with a few shoulder rolls. A little shaking out of the legs, bending the knees. Release any tension. Circle out through the wrists. Shake out through the hands. And inhale, let's lengthen up and overhead, looking to the sky. And exhale, folding forward over those legs. Into a nice forward bend. Just let the arms drop where they will, the toes, the shins, the floor. And now we're going to prepare for our reverse plank. So bring the hands behind you again and start to lift the collarbone, the chest, upwards to the ceiling. You can look forward, you can look up, and either stay here and breathe with a slight extension in the spine, or continue to point the toes and reach the toes down to the floor as we engage the glutes and the legs, lifting hips up and away, and finding that strong and powerful reverse plank. We're going to flex the feet and point the toes. Lift the hips a little higher. Flex the feet. Point the toes, hips high. And with control, let's lower that right down. Shaking it out. And then turning to your side. We're going to come down onto our elbow. And this is a great strengthener for the shoulder, for our back, for our QL. So we're going to do 8 of these modified elbow side planks. Line up the elbow under the shoulder and create lots of space between your shoulder and your ear. Your kneecaps are going to point down to the bottom end of your mat. And we're going to exhale, lift the hips up and away from the mat like you're trying to create an arc on the underside of the body. And inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower down. Option to look to the ceiling or to look forward. And now let's try to keep those hips lifted. Extend the top leg and point the toes and reach the top arm overhead so you're creating a nice stretch. As you exhale, we're going to lift the arm and the leg and inhale, stretch and lengthen away from each other. Try to keep the hips steady, the pelvis stabilized, the shoulders strong, the breath connected. Exhale to lift. Inhale to stretch overhead and lower that leg. So I just like to open and close the arms and let the momentum allow the hands to actually make contact with the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, kind of releasing any tension there from that side plank. So a nice little chest opener on the way out with the arms and a nice little pressure point activation as the arms come in. And then we're going to take it to the other side. Finding that elbow and shoulder alignment. And exhale, let's lift the hips up and away from the mat. Inhale, controlling down. If you find that there is some tenderness in that bottom supporting knee, feel free to add a little cushioning, a towel, a pillow. That might make a world of difference. And here at the top, we're going to keep the hips lifted. Let's try to maintain that height in the hips and pelvis, extending the top leg, pointing the toes, and reaching the top arm overhead. Lots of space in the side body. Exhale, we're going to lift the arm and top leg towards each other without touching, and then control the motion away from each other. Find the stretch. And with some control, we're going to release it down to the ground and just shake it out, let it go, and open and close the arms, open and cross the arms. Allow a little bit of momentum to let the tension release. And now we're going to move into hands and knees. I'm just using a towel for a little bit of extra knee cushioning support. And let's do a little bit of cat and cow here. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, arching the spine. Exhale, dropping the head, releasing the neck. Inhale, looking up and activating shoulder blades towards each other. And now we're going to go into a move called the pull down or the pulley. We're going to extend one leg back, flexing the foot, and the energy of this move pulls down towards the floor. So float the leg up to hip height and exhale, pull it down with some energy. Inhale, float it up, and exhale, pull it down with some intention. About 8 times here. Let those toes curl into the mat and press back into the heel. And let that opposite arm stretch to the sky. Open the chest, looking up. Let's twist, and then let's move into an arm and opposite leg balance here for a moment. And bring it back to the center. We're going to try the pull down on leg number 2. Try to keep the knees hip width apart, so as we lift the leg back behind us, we're not popping our hips over to the opposite side. And with our exhale, we're going to pull the leg down before the toes touch the floor. We're going to inhale, float it up to hip height, and exhale, pull it down. Curl the toes into the mat, press back into the heel as the opposite arm sweeps up to the sky, collarbone long. Looking to the clouds. Stretch that top arm overhead as the back leg lifts. Deepen your belly button into your body and hold this balance. And then bring it back to the center and have a seat to the heels in child's pose. Let the forehead rest and focus on the breathing for a few moments. And now we're going to put that pull down move into a full plank. Hands under shoulders, fingers spread wide, looking down at the space between the hands. Establish your plank pose and then float one leg up, and with your exhale, pull it down. Toes to the floor before they actually make contact. We're going to inhale, lengthen up, not too high. Notice how the hips and the pelvis stay still. So we're not lifting the hips up and down, we're lifting the leg up and down. So the hip flexor extends as we lift and flexes as we pull it down. And then we'll take it to the other side. And once we've done about 8 of those, bring it back to the center. Hold your plank for a moment for a happy thought. Positivity is so important, especially when we exercise. And then let's bring the knees down and visit our child's pose once more. And now we're going to set up into an elbow plank. I'm just using the towel underneath the elbows for a little extra cushioning, a little extra padding. Interlacing the fingers, I've got my baby finger extended. I've got shoulders aligned on top of elbows. I'm doing a little chin nod, pulling my chin a little bit towards my neck like a double chin. Allow one hip to drop maybe 1 or 2 inches closer to the floor, and then bring it back where it was. And then try the other hip dropping, and inhale, bring it back to center. In this way, the pelvis is rocking. And now with your exhale, we're going to lift the tummy and pike the hips up 1 or 2 inches. Inhale, lengthen back down into your plank position. Keep the power pressing back into those heels. Exhale, belly button lifts up into the body, sacrum to the sky, couple inches, not all the way. And make space for those knees to come right down onto the mat. And we'll give those shoulders a well-deserved break and sit back to the heels. So you're going to have your top knee bent and your ankles are very close to each other. Be careful that your feet are not too close to your body. Give yourself some space by moving the feet a little bit more away from the hips. Your top knee is facing the ceiling. Your bottom knee is resting on the floor. And then we're just going to rest our wrist on the top of that knee with palm facing up, kind of like a Greek goddess statue. Create an arc shape overhead. So that top arm is going to lift up and overhead like it's sweeping over. Straighten both legs as we lift the hips to the ceiling and arc that arm up and overhead simultaneously so it all comes together. With the exhale breath, the abdominals engage and we lift up and over into our side plank. Shoulders should be stacked and head should be perfectly centered in between those shoulders. Let's try 5. See if we can hold the top one, hips high, and we're going to twist and exhale. We're going to scoop that arm underneath, wrapping around our torso. And then inhale, unravel and reach up to the heavens. And exhale, engage those abdominals, ribs in, and wrap the arm around you. Slowly, with control, we'll bend the knees and lower the hips and come right back down to our starting position. Good job, shake it out, and let's try the other side. So we're starting just with the arc of the arm, introducing one part of the move into the body, into the mind, and then layering, stacking as we go. If you like to try rolling forward to that front knee as we lift the hips from the floor, you can try that as part 2, and then part 3 is straightening the legs, squeezing inner thighs together, letting the hips float up as the arm rainbows up and overhead. And feel free to look down or find a focus point to concentrate on, or to look up to the sky if you're super confident. Try not to collapse down. Try to bring it down with the same control that you have bringing it up and away. We're going to wrap underneath us, nice and close to the body, a little twist in the trunk. And then inhale, unpeel, and open it up. Expansion. And then we'll bring it right back down. Yay, good job. And just crossing the legs. Coming into a comfortable seated position, give it a little shake, shake, shake. Interlacing the hands, rolling the wrists. Planks do require some wrist strengthening. Your wrists will, like the rest of your body, get stronger the more you do these planks. So let's set up for a plank, a high plank, palms under shoulders, as we contemplate the Pilates push-up here. Feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. We're going to take this in 3 little increments. So we're going to inhale down, 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 and exhale, press up. Inhale 3, 2, 1, and exhale, press up. And of course, if you want to modify, bring the knees to the ground. Keep the breath, the focus, the control. 3, 2, 1, and exhale. Press up to the top. Hold the plank for a happy moment. And finally, pike the hips to the sky and find your downward dog. Shaking out the head. And even looking forward and then dropping the head down. Keep the tailbone high to the sky, the feet mat width apart, and let's walk the hands back into a rag doll, reaching for opposite elbows, softening the knees, and just letting gravity pull us forward into this stretch, rocking side to side. Back to center, we're going to slowly roll up. With a big inhale at the top. Exhale, lower the arms and rolling down the legs. Breath in at the bottom. Knees bent and rolling up. With a big inhale, looking up, stretching up, and exhale, rolling down the legs. And one more time. Coming on up, stacking shoulders on top of the hips. Let's open the arms into a wide V, bring the heels together, toes apart. Just try to lift those heels and balance. Put all that strengthening work into this final balance. Arms lower. Arms lift. And then bring the palms together as we lower the heels down. Thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much. We did it because we are superstars. We're the best. We can do anything now. If we did that, just think of what we can do. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much for joining and hope to see you again soon. Bye.